Right now, somewhere in your pocket or on the table beside you, your phone is waiting. You haven't touched it in 11 minutes. That feels like a long time. Your hand is already drifting toward it. You tell yourself you're checking the time. You're not. You're checking for something else entirely, and you don't even know what it is. The real answer is far stranger than boredom or habit. It reaches back hundreds of thousands of years, long before screens, long before electricity, long before anyone had a name for what you're feeling. Start with the obvious question. Why does a small glass rectangle have this kind of pull on you? It has no taste, no smell. It can't touch you back. And yet it can interrupt a conversation, a meal, even a moment with someone you love. That's not a design flaw. That's a design feature. But the deeper truth is that the phone didn't invent this feeling. It found something already inside you and learned how to press it. Picture your ancestors 40,000 years ago, standing at the edge of a clearing. They hear a rustle in the grass. Their head snaps toward it before they've even decided to look. That reaction wasn't a choice. It was wired in. Anthropologist Sarah Hrdy has written extensively about how human survival depended less on individual strength and more on constant social awareness. Knowing who was nearby, who was safe, who might be a threat. Missing a signal could mean missing a predator, or missing an ally. Either one could kill you. So your brain built a system for this. Researchers call it threat and opportunity monitoring. It's a low-level, always-on background process that scans your environment for anything new, anything changed, anything that might matter. You don't feel it running. You just feel its output. A flicker of unease when something's off. A pull of curiosity when something's new. Here's the part that should stop you. That system doesn't know the difference between a rustle in the grass and a notification buzz. It evolved to respond to novelty and social signals, not to identify whether those signals are real. Your phone produces an almost perfect stream of both. A new message is a social signal. A red badge is novelty. Your ancient alarm system fires every single time, exactly the way it would for a sound in the dark. There's a name for part of this. It's called variable reward, and it comes from a much older line of research than smartphones. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner ran experiments with pigeons and levers. When a lever produced a reward every time, the pigeons pressed it occasionally. When the lever produced a reward unpredictably, sometimes nothing, sometimes a treat, the pigeons pressed it constantly, almost obsessively. Unpredictability didn't reduce their interest. It multiplied it. Now think about your phone. Every time you unlock it, you don't know what you'll find. Maybe nothing. Maybe a message from someone you've been waiting to hear from. Maybe a photo, a joke, bad news, good news. The uncertainty is the engine. Your brain isn't checking your phone for content. It's checking it for the chance of content. That's a profound difference, and it's one most people never notice about their own behavior. Why does this matter so much to your brain specifically? Because for most of human history, social information was survival information. Knowing what your tribe was doing, who liked you, who didn't, who needed help, who might help you. That wasn't gossip. That was data that kept you alive. Evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar proposed that human brains grew as large as they did largely to track these social relationships, to hold dozens of shifting alliances and reputations in mind at once. Your brain is, in a very real sense, a social tracking machine first, and almost everything else second. Your phone exploits that machine with surgical precision. Every like is a tiny signal of social standing. Every message is a tiny signal of belonging. Every missed notification feels, somewhere deep and pre-verbal, like missing a piece of information your survival might depend on. Of course you reach for it. 40,000 years of wiring doesn't know it's being fooled. There's another layer underneath this one. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz, working with primates in the 1990s, discovered that dopamine, the brain chemical most people associate with pleasure, doesn't actually spike at the reward itself. It spikes at the anticipation of the reward. The moment right before you find out. That's the part that feels good, not the answer, the almost answer. This explains something strange about phone use that almost everyone has felt, but rarely names. The most intense moment isn't reading the message. It's the half second before you unlock the screen. After that, the feeling often deflates almost immediately, regardless of what you find. You feel a flicker of disappointment even when the news is fine. That's not because the message failed you. It's because the anticipation already delivered the chemical high. and the actual content can only ever be an afterthought. So here's the twist most people don't expect. You are not weak-willed for reaching for your phone constantly. You are not broken, and you are not uniquely undisciplined. You are running software that is tens of thousands of years old, built for a world of rustling grass and shifting alliances, dropped into a world engineered, very deliberately, to trigger that exact software as often as possible. The pull you feel is not a personal failure. It's a perfectly logical response from an ancient system facing a brand new kind of stimulus it has no way to distinguish from the real thing. Consider how strange this would look to someone from 10,000 years ago. Imagine showing them a person glancing at a glowing rectangle every few minutes, again and again, all day. They would not see a tool. They would see a person locked into a loop of constant vigilance, the same vigilance their own ancestors reserved for genuine danger or genuine opportunity. And in a sense, that's exactly what's happening, just dressed in glass and aluminum instead of grass and shadow. This doesn't mean the pull is unbreakable. Understanding where it comes from changes its grip. When you feel the urge to check your phone, you're not failing at self-control. You're feeling an ancient alarm misfire in a modern context. Naming that, recognizing it in the moment, is often enough to loosen it slightly. Some researchers studying digital behavior have found that simply turning notifications into batches, rather than a constant trickle, reduces the unpredictability that fuels the urge, because uncertainty, not information, is the real driver. It's worth sitting with how much of modern life runs on this same mismatch. Advertising, social media, news alerts, even the design of slot machines. All of them lean on the same ancient circuitry that once kept your ancestors alive in a dangerous, unpredictable world. The circuitry hasn't changed. Only what it's pointed at has. So tonight, when your phone buzzes on the nightstand and your hand moves before your mind has caught up, you'll know what's actually happening. It isn't curiosity. It isn't boredom. It's a 40,000-year-old alarm system doing exactly the job it was built to do, in a world it was never built for. And the rustle in the grass, after all this time, is still calling you by name.